Yeah, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to uh, the continuation of our software development course where we start with HTML. Now we are diving into CSS. So I've actually prepared the slides for us for our CSS course. As you all know, like CSS is cascading style sheet. Why do we need CSS? CSS is what we use to design, right? It's what we use to give text color, height, width, background images. So aside from like HTML that is just majorly the structure that we used to write on the web interface, right? But this one is one that gives it color. You understand? Just like example of building a house, the block is like the HTML. While the cement, the tiles, the paint is CSS. The CSS mainly gives what styling, makes our web app, website, mobile app beautiful. So, how does CSS work? How CSS targets elements in HTML. So, unlike the HTML we've talked about before, that we have many ways we have to identify our HTML element, maybe by class name, by elements name, by ID or selectors. There are many ways. So, for example, now see you can see that this is a paragraph on an HTML. So you can use this P to actually style paragraph in CSS. So you're going to be having different example regarding that. So we have ways to add CSS. We have inline style. So inline style is basically when we are writing our code and inside our HTML box we have to be adding our CSS styling codes inside, right? But the external one is when we use an external style element, right? Where you put the styles in the style element and we write our code, right? So that is the internal. So for the external is when we use link ref, you understand? Maybe a different file or a different package for styling. So we can actually place in our another file and we limit it there like lesson.css that we now import it or we link it, right? And which is actually the best practice. And for other packages we have ThemeWid, we have Bootstrap. Don't worry, you get to know all of that thing from this course. We have selectors, right, in CSS. So we have, as I've said, we have the P selector. The P selectors actually help us to style, like the P paragraph to style a particular paragraph, the H selector to style the head, maybe head 1, head 2. And we have the class name, whereby we are going to be having different examples of this, so you know how to use them in this tutorial. So we have a class name whereby you have to give it a class, you understand? Then you use that class name to style it. And we have ID when you give a specific ID to style each element in the HTML code. And we have this universal, right? This universal styles the whole page, whole component, you understand, in this thing. For example, like this one now, this star, right? And this one means it's to style all the whole website. Maybe you want all the whole website to have what a background or a background image or another default style. Then you understand. This actually gives the default style. Then. So we have grouping, just like this picture, right? We have H1, H2. You can group together. Maybe you can want your H1 element that has P, you understand, they should be like this, or your H1 element that has the anchor tag or the link tag to have a specific style. Don't worry if you don't understand. I'm going to give examples so you're going to understand. So in CSS, as I've said, is cascading style sheet. What we mainly do here is actually give styles, you understand, and color is something that is very very essential. So for we have many ways to define our color in our CSS. You can use the named one, you understand. Maybe you can just say color blue, color red, color white, you understand. And we have the HEX whereby you give the code color, you understand. So you put it with the hash and you give it the code color. Yes, and we have the RGB. We all know what RGB is, the red. So then you give the RGB color, and you also have the RGB. You understand? Give the color mixtures for each styling. So we have text and fonts. You understand? So we can actually give font styles. You understand? If you want a font style to be in in Saint Safri and any other font family, you understand. And font size to be big, to be in big of like 20 pixels. We will measure them in pixels, right? Maybe 30 pixels want to be bigger and all that. And one font which can be bold, it can be semi-bold, it can be thin, it can be light or all that one. And we have text align. When we want to align our text, if we are inflicting some goal. For example, I want to align this one. I see text align left, text align right. To be in this place, text align center. You understand? So text transformed. When we want all the text to be in uppercase and lowercase, please take note of all these styling I'm giving, so then you know how to use them when times comes. So we have background, you understand? You can give, for example, on this page now, this is the background color. You can give different background color. You can give background image. This background repeat is actually stand when we want the background to actually repeat in this problem. If we want the background to be like this background here, background here, background here. But we'll have examples of them, and we have background colors. Maybe you have a background image. I want to give it a color. Background size. I mean, I want to use the specific size. You understand? If you want this background to take the all the components, or just half, just maybe from here to here. You understand? Or this center. So then, don't worry. I'm going to be having few examples so you get to understand what I'm saying. So we have box models where we have every element in the box model. Maybe we have maybe each this box model is mainly used in buttons and all that. So in that kind of button, the text or something you want the text to be in center, you understand. The content should be in center. We have the padding, meaning that there should be space left, right, or left, or you understand, inside that particular box. And we want to have a border. Example of a border is when we have a button, but on the button we want to have another black something over it. For example, like this one is a shadow, but the border, I'm going to be showing an example of border or something. So this margin just like I will speak, you understand. For example, from here to here, there's a margin, you understand from there. So it's actually giving it a margin. The padding is when you want to give it space in that component. So I'm going to be giving you the two differences so you understand how it works. I just want to rush this up so that we can have more example. I don't want the video to be very long. So we have display property. When we have display property, sorry, excuse me. Display property when we want how our property, maybe head one to to be, you understand, to be displayed. For example, we have the full width when we want it to take full width. For example, when we want if we want like this property to take all the whole bits of this place, you understand, this width from here to here, you understand. So you want it to occupy its full width. We have this inline float with text, you understand. So we want when we want a particular text, you understand, to be in the same line, you understand, we have it. We have also example this inline box with plus width and non-hidden, you understand, or you want it to be hidden, you understand, you can put on. So we have position, we have static position, relative, absolute, fixed, and sticky. You understand? So this is actually the way we by default, whatever you are writing on on your website is actually static, you understand? So when it's just the way you write it, it should be there. So it actually move. This relative is when you want it to be a relative to other components, you understand? Maybe when you click something, something can actually be upon it or something. So we have unlike this relative or absolute. Absolute is when you want it to take uh from the word absolute, you understand? Then when the component is active, maybe you take the absolute of this place, you understand? So it will actually overshadow what is there. And we have fixed. So this fixed now, maybe this is this position here now, and we want to keep scrolling, you understand? It should be fixed. You see keep seeing, you understand? See, and we have this sticky, you understand? When we want this place to a particular element to be positioned in a particular place, you understand? I don't want it to move or to change what regarding what. So we have flex box, you understand? So this flex box actually helps us to it's actually in a display too, you understand? So when we have list of items, I want them to be in the same line. You understand? I want to align them to be for example, this flexbox text and this red here are in actually it's actually in the flexbox. They are in the same component. Unlike it should be unlike block element whereby nothing will be here. This one is going to be down here. You understand? So you have justify content when you want your content to be justified. Maybe you want it to be right, left, middle, or center. We have align items when we want your item to align in a particular way or order. You understand? You can also make it to let all this matter align to the right or to align to the left or to align to the middle. You can basically see that they are all just English. So we have CSS grid. You understand? It allows us in this CSS. It allows us in positioning our list of items. You understand? So you want this particular style. You understand? For example, when you visit a an e-commerce app or e-commerce website where they have list of items, you understand? It's actually in a box, small box like that. It's actually this actually where we define them, and you can also give your green columns. You understand how you want them to be in columns, and the gaps in between them. You understand? Maybe you want a particular box to have 10 pixels away from each other. So then you can actually look if you can see example of this. And you have this pursuit classic, you understand? So with these classes, you understand? For example, when something happens, you understand, want something to happen, you understand? For example, this anchor tag, you understand? When we over it, you understand? We want the background to change to what? To red, you understand? Or an input field, when you click it, you understand? You want it to have a border. When something happen, you want it to happen to it, you understand? That is actually what this is. So that's how specific those classes works. So, unlike that other example, you understand. So, when we want to actually target a first letter in a div or in a component, we usually use this when we want to work with our styling sheet and others. So we have our transition too. So our transition property when we want to make something to transition, maybe we want something to move, you understand, and you have to put maybe when we enter this website or something, this thing to move to this place or this thing to go to this place or this thing to be more bold, you understand. And we also have our over effect, you understand. So when we our mouse now when our mouse touches something, it should change, you understand, something should happen and a function should trigger. So we have responsive design. This responsive design is what is actually very important for you to know as a developer because now we have mobile view, we have desktop view, you understand? And whenever you are building your website, you want it to be responsive to whenever it opens on web, you understand, it should have its own styling. And whenever it's open on app, on mobile phone has a smaller screen view. You understand, the screen should adjust to what you want. So that is what is with responsive design means. It actually make use of what React Code is. You understand, you need not to write React Code when you have to define your screen size. When it's on this kind of screen size, it should be like this. On when it's out of screen size, it should be like this, and so on. So the best practice now is what, use external style sheet, you understand? As I'm going to be making use of example of it when you're going to be defining our style somewhere else and working with it, and organize your CSS. Whenever you're starting your CSS, make sure it is what, it's organized. You understand? It is organized. So avoid um IDs that maybe replicated IDs or just same IDs when you are giving your HTML the same IDs. You understand? When you give this one main and that one main, and it's actually going to be complicated and to be actually affecting your file. This commenting your code is when you add comments to your code, when you are actually trying to explain what the particular place or what is doing. You understand? So the bug with developer tools is what you're going to be working on the advanced course, you understand, when you start working with the bugs tools, you understand. So the project for this course is to make an online registration for school admission, you understand. So that is going to be the, but let's dive into what we've been talking about since. So this is our HTML that we've basically had. We basically had here. This is our HTML. Let me try to open it on my server. Yeah, this is what we have. This is what we have, right? So now we're going to be trying to style it. I'm going to be using an external style sheet for this. So we're going to be coming in and name our CSS file. You can name it lesson.css, right? And this is the file that is created. You get file here and make it lesson.css. But before we can use it, we have to come to our inside on our head. We have to link it. So you can write link. I'm supposed to get an autocomplete. Okay, if you don't have autocomplete, so we have to give it the ref that we are going to be using. Uh, so you're going to be using what ref? We're going to be calling it what? A style sheet. Yeah, and now we're not going to be doing what we want to give it. You understand? What are we referencing to? You are not say lesson.css. So this is the name of our style. So that is where, okay, that's why we are not having autocomplete because let me try it again. I'm supposed to write link. See, yeah, it's supposed to be link. So try to correct this link, right? Make sure it's spelled. Let me zoom so you can see the screen very well. Link. So then we've linked it to this now. So now going back to our, we said we have different ways. Where's this place? Think. So we have so let us use this element, understand, the P element. So first you can see that we have H1, H2, H3, and we have P. So let us use the P first. We just write the P and come in and say background image, background color should be what? Let's say it should be yellow or anything you want to add. Let's try to refresh this. something is not wrong. Um, what's going on? Okay, I'm supposed to be getting this style immediately. Okay, let us use another. Okay, let us use another style with letting.css. Okay, what's not the problem? Let us use another style first, and if it does not work, then there's an error somewhere. So let's use the classes. So you can use the classes by what giving it class here, class, and what class you want to give it. You can just limit anything. Just say it's mean. You understand? You save it. Then you come here, you go to your CSS file and you write dot mean, then you give it. And you can see background color should be red, whatever you want to. So it's not working. That means there's something wrong. We are doing something wrong. So let me go back and check what we are having that is wrong. It's not here. Is this is general? Okay, yeah. What is wrong? Okay, let's do this again. Open the server. So where could be our error? Our error. Okay, our error is here. This is actually a ref. So we have to relative something we are working it should be R rel. Yes, I think this should be safe. Yes, you can see it's working now. So in our start sheet, this was our error. Make sure it is rel, not ref, and this one is ref. Referencing to what packaging we are working we are our file name. You understand? So then you can see that this P has actually worked, and all the P tags in on our project right is now what yellow, and what we name as main, the class we give it. Let me come and show us. It's what we use as main. It's now what this is the class name. It's now what red. So let's look for another. Uh, let's use ID. Let's use ID. ID. So let's go here. Let's come here and give it ID. Should be what? Let's call it what ID. Let's call it Pro. You understand? You save it. You come here. Start giving an ID. See the way you give your ID here. You can see it's going to be on what hashtag for your ID. So need for your classes, you are going to start with dot and the name of your classes. Of your class, the name of the class you give, and this one is for what the element. You can be H1 or anything you want. So for the ID, you're going to be going like this. No, sorry. Yes, hash what pro. Then let's do this one. Background color should be blue. You can give it any background color you want. Let's style it. Contrast. Um, was it pro we gave it? Yeah, ID pro. Yes, you can see it has up. Yeah, the program. I can see that it is blue. So your assignment now is to give it what was the assignment? A form. You understand? So let us try to do something like that fast. If you can do it, then you continue. So for if I like to give in a form, so I would like for me, I would like to do what? Give it head one, you understand? So I'll not what is the name of this form? I'll just do registration form, right? Save it. You can see the registration form. Then you can give it a class, you can give it reg, anything you want. Then on my style here, let me delete everything. You can just go like dot reg. Then you can see um align center should be center, right? You can do text align should be what? Center. Then you can give it font should be what? Font size should be maybe 50 pixels, right? And color can be what? Can be red, right? Any color you want, then you can see, right? Registration form. So I can give it another p tag. Can fill in your details for the right. You can see that this one is going to be start. You understand? But I want to put it here like this one. So I will just come here. You can just use the p tag. That means all my p we have the same default. You understand? And I'll just say x should be what? Um, x align should be what? Center, right? I can just say the color should be what? Should be gray. Color can be gray. Let me see the way it is. You can see. So let me now start my form. Understand? You can now come here and form. So the form has two properties. We have the label and the input field. The label is what name you are going to be giving the form property, and the input field is where they will actually put in their name or something. So you can just do label. Label can be full name. Now the input is where they will actually put that label. You now put input. You can see. So on this input, you have to close the tab too. This one to complete. I'll input, right? So inside this input is in properties. You understand? So what type of input is this? As a type should be what? Text. Save it there. You can see name text. So you can see it. So then what else do we want? Another label, right? You can see email address input and close it slash input. And now you have to type what mail. You see email or mail. You can just say email. You can see it will give you this and see. There's a special element here. You can see that everything here that you want this thing, but you want this one to come under here. There's another special that you can put here. You can just do BR, that means break. You understand? It actually breaks, you understand? So now what does we want? Um let's say label, then say password, then you come here, input, and close it, input. This one is not close, so then type, you can see password, you can see if you see the type what it will give you now. If you not add types, just give it text, you can see password, you can see it's in password. But this thing is not style. Let me not try to style this. And what else do we use to collect for school registration? What else do we need to collect? Basically, I can't remember, but then you just um, let's do BR to break because we want it to be in another line. Let's do another input. DBL. Sorry, DBL. Let's see course. Understand? Then you can actually use select here and close it. Inside the select, you can actually what option one option. You can see type of course. You can see CSS. Well, that's one option that they will input. Can do one, and that one HTML, JavaScript, or Python. You can see. Let's go and see the results. You can see course. You see, you can actually pick anyone you want. You can see it's not start properly. You understand, but I don't know if we can. I don't want this video to get longer. And we inside our form element. Actually, there is what is going on? This form, where is the closing tag for the form? This form is not supposed to be closing. It's supposed to be here. It's supposed everything should be inside form, right? And see, and this one is not breaking. Email and password. There you can add our BR. I hope you are learning something. You can see, and then let's add button to submit. Button submit. You can see submit. And let's put our type of button. We have a lot of, let's see how radio will be. We have a lot of button that you can actually use. You understand? You can go online and checking for your button, but just use submit. It's usually a submit button, but this is not what I want. I want it to break from this. Then pl slash. So then I want to see style this. I want to see style this. Uh, let's style this. Um, let's see if you can start them a little bit and then you continue. Um, yeah, inside this one, you want it to what? This our label. We want to we want everything to be in the center first. We want everything to be in center, right? You can give it class name and form. You can save it. Then dot form. You can see text align should be what center, right? And this one you are styling everything. Then you see font size. Font size should be like medium. Is okay. Let's see what it should do. You can see everything is in center. Let's give it margin top. It should be margin top of maybe 20 pixels. You understand? To come down. See, let me add more. Since that 20 pixels no enough. Let me select 50 pixels. You can see it has come down. Right? What else do we want to add to this form? Um, let's add the button too. The button. Let's give it. This going on here. It's supposed to. Yes. Let's do the button. Let's see. Class. It should be what class it should be. And let's do. Can name anything one. Let's just name it button. That's the name I have for my head. So let's say the button. Right. And just see background color should be blue. No, I think it should be red because you'll be using red for border before. Cannot just use blue. Red. Let's see padding. So padding should be text. 10 this is 20, 10 is okay. 10 pixels. Use in a pixels in there's something. Okay, button. We do not spell our button here very well. It's you we used. So you can see the padding is the space inline this one and this one. Unlike margin is what is here and this place you get. So and we have border here. We don't want this border, but this black thing was the border I was explaining before. Let's now give it text. Let's see text. Let's say color. Color should be white. Make sure your own assignment is more beautiful than my own. That is a challenge. Whatever you are doing should be more. You can see text wise. It should be more fine than my own. You can see radius. You see border radius. You see border radius. Okay, let me close this one. I see border radius should be 20 pixels. You can see. So this is it. So this is our form. Make it more classic and more good, right? Make it more good than mine. So that will be the end of this CSS for this section. So in our next area. We are going to be working on one project that will make you understand how HTML and CSS work. You can be building your own website, you understand? And I will later on we'll be talking or talking about how you're going to be applying for jobs and internships. You understand that you will get at least small money to, you understand, support your learning. So if you've not, try to subscribe to this channel and share it to those that might be useful for. Bye for now.